friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my review of the Memoria Press enrichment program that we have used for the 2019-2020 school year. So we are finishing up the school year, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of show you what we used for our composer, art, and poetry study this year. So it's the first time that we have used an enrichment program, and it's also the first year I've had a kindergartner. So I thought it would be fun to start the year off using a program that was appropriate for my kindergartners, but would also be introducing enrichment to my older girls for the first time. So I found a good fit in Memoria Press. I picked up their kindergarten enrichment program. This covers other things other than poetry, art, and composer, but that is what we used it for. We only used it for those three subjects, and it worked out really well for the most part, and so I wanted to share kind of how it worked and what it looks like. So this is the teacher's manual that I used with it. You're also going to need, if you're interested in using it, you need the kindergarten through second grade music enrichment. This just covers all three of those grades, kindergarten, first, and second, but it's in one book. So if you decide to do it for all 3 years, that's great. You only need to purchase this one time. Then you also need Eric Carle's Animals, and this is a poetry book. If you're familiar with the board books, when kids are little toddlers, we had a ton of these, and we still do. So this is the poetry book version of that. And then this book here, A Child's Book of Poems. This one is black and white and color illustrations, and there's poems throughout. You're also going to need the art cards that go along for the artist study. So these are 5x7 cards. There's all different art pieces that you're going to use. Some of them are sculptures, some of them are just art pieces. It'll tell you what you use and when. And these are only for the kindergarten year. So if you decide to go second grade, first and second grade with Memoria Press enrichment, you're going to have to get the cards for those years. And I think they switch up poetry and stuff like that too. This here is just an easel that we purchased, and my kids painted several of these, and we just put our art card here for the week that we're working on, and it just sits on our mantle with our poetry books and things like that. All right, so these books here I just added on. These are Katie books. You might be familiar with these. They're just some picture books, and they talk about different artists, and it's kind of like a little adventure story with Katie. We have Starry Night, the British artists, and there's also an impressionist one as well. All right, so I'm just going to open up this book and just flip to this lesson here to kind of show you. Okay, so lesson 16, for example, there's a part 1 and a part 2 to this. Okay, so the things that they also are going to cover, which we did not use, hardly use, I should say, because we did do some of the read alouds, but they cover a read aloud. So for this particular lesson, it's Stella Luna. They give you an overview of the book. They tell you a little bit about the author and illustrator. There's a section for before you read, some vocabulary words, some comprehension questions, and after you read section, and you can even pull a language lesson out of this. There's history and culture and science. Okay, so it's all around a theme, and everything kind of connects together, even the music. So I thought that was really cool. I liked how they worked all the lessons in that way. So for us, like I said, we did art, music, and back here is poetry. So let's start with art. So it gives you the art that you're going to be looking at that week. So it's this one today is Impression Sunrise by Monet. It tells you where it's located and what type of painting it is. Okay, and then here it just gives you some like a brief bio of the artist. It also mentions some of the other works from the artist, and you can look up some more paintings if you want to. We just had that painting out for a week. We talked about it, and then instead of reading all of this in one day, we would read a little bit every day for the 5 days, and then that would be it. We'd be done with the artist. So we didn't sit with a particular artist or a particular piece of art for very long, but I liked that for this instant, because we were learning about different art and just being introduced, I liked that we had a little bit of different pieces of art, like sculptures, impressionist paintings, just all sorts of still lifes, things like that. So I like that there was a variety. So we did that for the art. And then for the music, you have this book here. Whatever lesson you're on, you just go to that week's lesson. It tells you who you're going to be studying. So Mozart for this one, it tells about a little bit about Mozart, some questions you can ask, and then you listen to the piece of music. So Memoria Press has a YouTube channel. You can also go on Spotify, but we use the YouTube channel, and it has all of the music that you're going to listen to. So you just go to your week and you listen to the music. The only thing I will say that was disappointing about that was that in the middle of some of the pieces, there'd be ads running, and just randomly at the beginning or at the in the middle, which was a little frustrating. But we were able to work through that. But yeah, I thought that could be done a little bit better. But other than that, it was fine. So we listened to that piece of music for a week. And the same with the poetry. We read the poems, whatever book it tells us to go to. For this particular one, it's a child's book of poems. It tells you what page to go to. And then you just read the poem. And yep, it's nice, it's simple. Most of the poems are short, they rhyme, and the kids like them. The illustrations are fun. So you'll find more than one poem per page, which is okay. So you get a little bit of flavor of all these different types of poems. So there's Night Blessing. This particular lesson had 2 poems. So it had Night Blessing and Good Night. The pages aren't printed on here very well, so you kind of have to guess what page you're on most of the time. But yeah, so they have two poems for this particular one. So we read the poems, and that was it. We kind of read them over and over again for a week, and it was really nice to have something that would walk me through teaching composer art and poetry that wasn't too heavy or intense. I liked that it was simple. We had a lot of different poems. We had a lot of different art cards to look at, a lot of different artists, and it made it really simple. So overall, I liked this. I think that we'll definitely do something else next year, but for our very first year of introducing this, if you're thinking about wanting to introduce poetry and composers and art, and you don't want to be overwhelmed by it, or you want a variety of artists right off the bat, so that maybe it'll capture the children's interest longer, because it's so different every day, or every week I should say, this might be a good place to start. I thought it was perfect for kindergarten. My 3rd graders were fine with it too. They enjoyed it a lot as well. So overall, it was good. I would have loved to have pieces of art be bigger. I did order, the Memoria Press had like an 8x10 poster. I did order those, but I had to send them back because they were all creased and folded and put into an envelope and delivered to me. But Memoria Press was really good about it. They let me know that they just didn't have another option for mailing those posters, so that they were always going to be creased. So they did return those for me and refund my money. So I appreciated that. I laminated these and they have worked out, you know, perfectly fine. What I did on the back was I put the wet erase markers on the back here just to kind of give me a number for the weeks that we were using, and it helped me organize the cards a little better so I could easily find what I needed when I needed it. Yeah, so overall it was good, and I will probably use something else, and I'm excited to figure out what I'm going to use, and I will definitely keep you guys posted on what it is that we use for enrichment next year. But I'm so glad that I did use enrichment. I was nervous about trying it. I didn't think I could fit it in, but it's something so simple that you can definitely fit in. It shouldn't take more than 15 minutes every day. And you can do it any time of day. You can do it before bedtime. You can do it in your morning basket, which we did. We did both of those things. We added it to our morning basket, and then we also added it to our nighttime reading routine, and it worked out fine both ways. So you can fit it in. It's not too overwhelming, and this was a good, easy way to start. All right, thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions about this particular curriculum, let me know down below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks, you guys.